My brothers and sisters, today we are at war. Not just a cultural war, not just a political war, but a spiritual war. The battlefield is your soul. The enemy is not hiding in a bunker in some faraway land. He's right in your living room. He's on your phone, in your pocket, in your child's tablet, and beaming through the television. I'm talking about pornography, a demonic plague that is enslaving men, destroying families, and dragging souls to hell. If you think I'm being dramatic, buckle up, because this is going to be a hard-hitting, unapologetic wake-up call. The devil's favorite sin isn't always violence, it's seduction. He doesn't come with horns and a pitchfork. He comes as the soft glow of a screen at midnight. The Catechism of the Catholic Church says in paragraph 2354, pornography consists in removing real or simulated sexual acts from the intimacy of the partners in order to display them deliberately to third parties. It offends against chastity because it perverts the conjugal act. It does grave injury to the dignity of its participants. It is a grave offense. Grave offense. Mortal sin. Not a mistake. Not just boys being boys. It's a cancer of the soul. St. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 6 verse 18, flee fornication. Every other sin a man commits is outside the body, but the fornicator sins against his own body. Pornography is spiritual suicide. It reduces the human person, made in the image and likeness of God, to an object for consumption. Satan doesn't need to convince you that God doesn't exist. He just needs you to stop caring. Pornography numbs the conscience, darkens the intellect, and weakens the will. It's not just a bad habit. It's an open door to hell. The early church knew this. St. Augustine, a man who struggled with lust before his conversion, warned us. Lust indulged became habit, and habit unresisted became necessity. The devil doesn't just want you to fall. He wants you addicted. He wants you crawling back to the filth like a dog returns to its vomit. 2 Peter 2 verse 22. Pornography attacks the heart of human dignity. It reduces a son of God to a slave of impulse. It enslaves men. It destroys marriages. It corrupts children. Statistics tell us that the average age of first exposure to pornography is now around 11 years old. 11. That's not just tragic, it's diabolical. The Catechism warns us. It is a grave offense. Civil authorities should prevent the production and distribution of pornographic materials. CCC 2354. Pornography is not a private sin. It's a public evil. A man addicted to pornography cannot love rightly. He brings poison into the bedroom. He loses the ability to see his wife as a daughter of God and instead sees her as a tool for pleasure. St. John Chrysostom said, nothing is more shameful than to look at another man's wife as though she were your own. But in pornography, it's even worse. You're not just looking at another man's wife, you're watching the desecration of God's temple for your entertainment. Let me be crystal clear. Unrepented mortal sin sends souls to hell. Pornography, when committed with full knowledge and deliberate consent, is a mortal sin. Galatians 5 verses 19 to 21. Now the works of the flesh are plain: fornication, impurity, licentiousness. Those who do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Do you hear me? not maybe, not possibly, shall not inherit the kingdom of God. That means hell. You cannot receive the Holy Eucharist in a state of mortal sin. St. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 11 verse 27, "Whoever eats the bread or drinks the cup of the Lord in an unworthy manner will be guilty of profaning the body and blood of the Lord." If you're addicted to pornography, you need to stop receiving communion until you go to confession. You're not doing yourself a favor. You're piling condemnation on your soul. We live in a culture that mocks purity. They say it's natural. Everyone does it. It's not hurting anyone. Lies. Christ said in Matthew 5 verse 28, "But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart." That's not me. That's Jesus Christ. You cannot follow Christ and follow your lust at the same time. You must choose. St. Jerome said, "Remove the fuel, and the fire will go out. Avoid the provocations to sin, and you will avoid the sin itself." Pornography is the fuel. Stop feeding the flames that are burning down your soul. You're not alone, and you're not without weapons. Here's the battle plan. Frequent confession. Go weekly if you must. If you fall, get up. The devil wants you to despair. Christ wants you to get up and fight. Daily rosary. Our Lady is the crusher of serpents. She will purify your imagination and strengthen your will. Eucharist and adoration. A man who gazes upon Christ in the monstrance will lose the taste for sin. You become what you behold. Fasting. Lust is gluttony of the flesh. Starve the flesh, feed the soul. Skip a meal. Take a cold shower. Deny yourself daily. Accountability software. Get it on every device. Covenant eyes. Net nanny. Do whatever it takes. Cut off your right hand if it causes you to sin. Matthew 5 verse 30. Spiritual reading and the lives of the saints. Read Street Dominic Savio, St. Maria Goretti, St. Joseph, St. Thomas Aquinas. Surround yourself with holiness. Join a men's group or brotherhood. Don't fight alone. Iron sharpens iron. Get real. Get raw. Get serious. You may have fallen, but you are not defeated. God's mercy is greater than your sin. Christ died on the cross for you, for your redemption, for your liberation. Romans 6 verse 14. Sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under the law, but under grace. You were not made for chains. You were made for glory. And it's time to rise from the ashes and fight. You want to be a real man. Protect your wife. Guard your children. Kill your lust. And kneel before your King. Brothers and sisters, souls are at stake. You cannot afford to be lukewarm. Christ said in Revelation 3 verse 16, "Because you are lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spit you out of my mouth." Get hot. Get on fire for Christ. The devil's weapon is pornography. But God's weapon is you, when you're filled with grace, armed with the sacraments, and fearless in the face of temptation. Stand up. Gird your loins. Fight like a soldier of Christ. And never, ever give up. Pornography is a sin of weakness, but the grace of God is stronger than any chain.